Okay, so we are doing something new and different on the channel. First of all, this is a midweek upload, so that itself is kind of disrupting our weekly schedule. But I thought I might do a Q&A with you guys. And a couple days ago, I did a Q&A on Instagram where I asked you a couple questions. And in this video, while I answer your questions, I'm also going to do like a step-by-step walkthrough so you guys can see what goes on in my mind and how I actually look for answers when it comes to study abroad related things. Hopefully it can help you guys out and help you follow like the same methodology in the future as well. So before we begin, one other thing I asked on Instagram was that if your question is picked in this video, the first person to DM me can win a 15-minute free consultation. It'll be a one-on-one Zoom call. I'm happy to help you guys out. So keep an eye out. If you see your question, just, shoot me a DM on Instagram and we'll get a call set up. Let's begin. All right, so the first question is from Sahar, who asks, please introduce the source for scholarships. Now, this is a very open-ended question, but I understand that a lot of students, want to learn how to look for these sources. And of course, the first thing that you can think of is you would go to Google and, type out scholarships, try to get the information. But at this point, there's just so much of outdated information that's out there, which means that there might be some scholarships that are no longer valid. Others may not give you the right eligibility requirements, which is why, in my opinion, so the best place to look would be YouTube and specifically the Crazy Medusa YouTube channel. Now, I may be a little biased, but I keep all of the scholarship information updated. And the way you would do that is go onto YouTube, you would go onto the Crazy Medusa channel and scroll down. I know there are more than 200 videos available, but what we're going to do is go into this playlist tab. Now over here, if you scroll down and the second option you see here, which is Road to Success 2023-24, this entire playlist is dedicated to scholarships and financial aid. So if you hit view full playlist and go to this video over here, which is episode number 0, this is like the goldmine of basic information that is available. You have things like merit-based scholarships that I explain in, a lot of detail. And then you have the need-based scholarships, which is financial aid as well, and all the other types of things that you need to know in order to maximize your chances to actually get the maximum aid. Now, once you've watched the basic video, the other videos on this playlist include specific videos for colleges, Johns Hopkins, Arizona State, Purdue, Cornell. I've kind of picked some of the most popular colleges in the US and done specific videos on the actual financial aid and scholarship process. So watch all of these videos. I make this playlist every year. So this one was for 23-24. When the applications will start for the fall 25 intake, we'll do another one where we tackle, updated versions of scholarships and financial aid there as well. The next question is from Gia, who asks, how do you prepare yourself if you're coming to the US? Now, first off, congratulations. Yeah, from this question, it does seem like maybe you're in the process of moving here, you've gotten some good offers, and I'm sure that many students are in a similar position. Now, once you get over that barrier of getting accepted by a college and actually finalizing, it really starts hitting you that you have to leave home. You're going to most likely, if you are an international student, travel to a whole new country, leaving your parents behind, and it can definitely be overwhelming. So I'm going to break this into two parts. One, things you should carry from your country. In this case, let me take an example of India when you're coming to the US. Now, this includes things like all of your Indian masalas. When I was coming, I carried things like red chili powder, dhania powder, garam masala, turmeric I left behind because you can get that here. Maybe a few things that your mom makes that you want to carry. Just remember, no fruits, vegetables, or meats. All of that stuff is not allowed. Now, the other thing is a lot of students worry that when they come to the US, they will definitely be homesick. And my way to kind of tackle that is, one, get some Indian snacks that make you feel like home. For me, that was Parle-G biscuits and Blue Lays. I got these pre-packet snacks with me in my suitcase so that every time I was here and I didn't want to eat like pizzas and burgers outside, I could have like a nice homemade meal by myself. I guess biscuits and Lays doesn't consist of a homemade meal, but you get the point. But on the other hand, if you are worrying about what you're going to do cooking-wise, because I know as a high school student, you're probably not proficient in cooking, Cumin Club has you covered. Now, I've tried a lot of their options. My personal favorite is pav bhaji and dal fry. Now you must be thinking these are like ready to eat microwavable packets. No, that's not what this is. This is something that honestly, when I made it, it didn't feel like I was eating out of like a packet. These are like dry powders that have cooking instructions with them. You make them in a pot with like water. It takes about 10 minutes or even less, and it's ready to serve meal. They have rice, dal, paneer. Paneer is my favorite as well. So you can get all of these like packages here to make your life easier as a student. Now, coming on to the things that you will get from the US. Now, if you're coming to the US, the one thing you cannot forget to buy is a good high quality perfume. Now, this is where I'd like to introduce you to Dossier that have luxury fragrances both for boys as well as girls. They come in these travel friendly sizes. They're very easy to use, a ton of options to choose from, and they are super affordable. They have these snap-on caps that are easy to carry around, and you guys can use the link in the description to get a discount and get your Dossier perfume. The other things that I do not recommend students buy from their own country, India in this example, is stuff related to tech. Now, this is the first thing that your relatives or parents would want to gift you. Stay away from that. Just take the cash and buy it here in the US, and there are some pretty good reasons for that. Yes, you need a laptop, but do not buy a laptop from India if you're coming to the US. I'm going to tell you a few reasons. One, you might be able to talk to your professors and understand what the specifications of the laptop needed is after you start college. So you might be in a better place to figure out what works best for you. For example, Windows versus a MacBook, Apple, things of that sort. The second thing is there are so many student discounts that are available here for students, especially college students. It doesn't matter if you are a domestic or international student. And I'm going to show you right now. So let's say we go to the Apple website, and this is like their main homepage. Everyone knows this. It looks very familiar. But if we scroll all the way down, we can see under For Education, we have Shop for College. The minute you enter Shop for College, it takes you to an education-specific website. And this particular website is only for college students. When you actually go to purchase whatever you're trying to buy, they will check your ID to make sure you are a college student. And occasionally they'll have different offers available, and these offers can range from discounts to maybe getting AirPods for free or getting a subscription for free. I've gotten my MacBook for like $200 off when I was in college by getting this education discount. So these are the type of things you want to look out for. The next thing is things like a winter jacket or bulky items that you may need here. For example, if you're coming to a cold place, getting a winter jacket, I would recommend getting it from here. Columbia was my go-to winter jacket. In this case, we can see like you get them at pretty affordable rates, in my opinion. They're like less than $100. Great option both for boys and girls. And the reason I suggest this particular thing is because it's different, the cold and the weather here. And the winter jackets that I personally bought from India when I came to Boston did not work. It didn't help with the cold. I would still freeze so much, and I eventually had to buy a jacket from here to make sure I wasn't feeling cold. So there's no point spending double the amount of money. Just do it the right way and get it here. Second thing is it'll also help you not take up too much space in your luggage. You have a very limited amount of luggage that you can bring with you, and carrying bulky items like a winter jacket does no good. The next thing we want to look at is perhaps a blender. Now, I'm going to kind of combine two things. A blender, this is my go-to one. It's always on a discount and it works great. Honestly, at the end of like college, I had to throw this out. It's not that it stopped working, it's just that I got sick and tired of it. So it's something you can literally blend like smoothies and salads and whatever not, and it won't break. The other thing is a power strip. You definitely need a good power strip, something that has a lot of plug points and USB slots for various stuff that you're charging. And lastly, an air fryer. This was literally a lifesaver. You can just cook so much, from like vegetables to meat to whatever you're trying to eat, whether you want to warm it up or just cook it to perfection. This does the trick. It doesn't take too much space either. This is an affordable one that I found on here as well. Now, some other things I would recommend you buy from here is a good quality backpack, and investing in something like this, which is from Bellroy, makes sense. It has like 2 compartments, so enough to put your laptop in, separated with food, notebooks, iPad, whatever. And the other thing that I personally like is a separate kind of folio, just like this one over here, that kind of holds your iPad. Now, particularly, I've noticed with all of these online note-taking apps, you will eventually need an iPad. So that is something you can invest in as well. And, having that safe, all of your digital notes really helps you in the long run because you're not carrying around papers. Till this date, unfortunately, when I was studying, online note-taking wasn't a thing. So I have like boxes of all of my notes that I still carry with me every time I move. So get in the habit of digital note-taking, which I think in the long run will really, really help you. Now, if you're feeling extra special and you have a little bit extra to spend on making the space that you're living in a little bit more homey aesthetic, kind of like these panels is something that you can definitely try exploring. These ones that I have from here are the walnut shade from Wood Veneer Hub, and they do a great job in kind of bringing up the aesthetic. It definitely helps me sit down and work. It's a nice workspace to have with everything looking very cohesive and productive. Lastly, getting a SIM card. Now, there are so many no-nos to this of getting a prepaid SIM card or getting a SIM card from India and then trying to come here and activate this. It's just a nightmare. I had to do it when I was coming to the US. I had one of those SIM cards that was supposed to activate the minute I landed on the airport. It did not. It didn't work. I was stranded. We paid all this money. I ended up going to like the AT&T store and getting a very, very expensive plan. So Mint Mobile is something that you guys can explore. They have some very affordable plans. They are designed specifically for students, and you can get this while you are in India itself, or you can do this the first day you come here. They kind of work both with physical SIMs as well as eSIMs. So they'll work with you on making sure whatever the best thing that you need is. I'm going to leave a link below so you guys can check them out as well. The next question is from Sarthak, who asks, on average, how much can an international student earn by doing an on-campus job? Now, I'm going to walk you through this because the rates differ from college to college. So let's say we take Cornell as an example. I'm going to just type into like the search bar here, Cornell per hour student rate for on-campus jobs, and we'll open this first link, which is from the official Cornell website. Now, the minute we open this, we have these different wage scales. So the first thing you want to check is whether this is the official website or not, because do not trust these third-party websites that compile the information and give it to you, because a lot of times it's outdated. Trust the college website directly. That is the most reliable source. In this case, we can see that there are different classification levels and then there's a minimum wage rate. These different classification levels means like promotion. Most likely you'll start at 1, and if you work for like 6 months or 1 year, then you'll move on to 2, 3, 4, so on. We'll consider the minimum wage. Now, we know that as an international student, you can work for 20 hours per week. So let's say we take 15 and we multiply that by 20. This is how much you can earn per week. And if we were to do this for 1 month, we'll multiply it by 4. We get $1,200 per month. Now, obviously, you're not going to be working an on-campus job for like an entire year. So let's assume you work for 6 months. So I'm going to multiply this by 6. And you get $7,200, which is the minimum wage under the class 1 level. A few things to remember here is, I assume that the student was working 20 hours, so my initial calculation was based on that, but it's not recommended. I've seen students burn out from trying to work a part-time on-campus job in chasing this figure right over here so that they can get quick short-term money, and that ends up compromising their grades, their performance in tests, assignments, and they start failing classes. So do not do that. Your number one priority when you come here is to perform well in college so you can get a high-paying job that is upwards of like $60,000, $70,000 per year when you begin as a new graduate. So remember that. The next thing is, this figure that you see here, the one we calculated, is pre-tax. So depending on the state you are living in, there will be some amount of tax deducted. On average, you can expect that tax to be anywhere between 20 to 30%, including state and federal. So those are some things to keep in mind. But this amount of money is definitely good enough that you don't maybe need to ask your parents to send you money. You have a little bit of freedom with living expenses, food, and trying to buy books and supplies as well. So Rahul asks, as an F1 student, can you invest in stocks? Now, this is again a very popular question, and yes, stocks is considered a passive investment as long as you are not doing day trading. What day trading means is that you're just buying and quickly selling stocks and you're basically treating it like a full-time job. You cannot do that. However, if you just want to invest a little bit that just like grows in a few months and then you sell or whatnot, that's completely fine. You're allowed to do that. As a student on your F1 visa, you will need a couple things, 3 things to get started. The first thing is a social security number that your college can help you out with. The second thing is you'll need a US bank account because you have to transfer money into a brokerage account from a US bank account. The third thing is the brokerage account. Now, I personally use Robinhood. It's been very good with, allowing me to invest on a very easy to understand basis, especially for someone who is very new to this, which is something I suggest everyone should learn at some point. And if you're getting started as a student in college, it's the perfect time to learn. You guys can also use a link in the description. If you use that link, when you sign up on Robinhood, you will get a free stock. So definitely use that link when you're signing up to get that free reward. Other than that, something to just remember is when you ultimately sell your stock, the profit or whatever you get out of that will be subject to taxes. So every year you'll get like a report that you have to submit when submitting your taxes. If there's nothing wrong about it, it's just that don't forget to include your Robinhood tax report summary while doing your taxes to make sure you're being compliant with everything. All right, that's all that I had for this video. This was a fun little way to kind of help grow the community that we have on this YouTube channel, which I think is in a way somewhat lacking. I noticed like a lot of comments on the videos and even Instagram DMs where people are very kind of selfish with what they ask. Questions are tailored towards like very, very specific case scenarios, and I cannot make a video on a specific topic that would help one person. So let's do a better job in trying to ask questions, be more respectful, a hello, hi, hope you're doing well, sort of that courteous thing. And the other thing was, even when I did this Instagram Q&A, I noticed that although a lot of people asked a bunch of questions, nothing was general enough for me to actually pick and do a Q&A walkthrough. So, let's do a better job, guys. Let's try to build a community and actually help each other out. I keep seeing like 3 or 4 comments being posted on the same video that why aren't you making the fall 2025 set of videos? And they will come. There's a time and place for everything. If I end up making the fall 25 videos right now, there's nothing you can do about it because the applications will not open for the next 6 months. So I do have a plan. I do have a strategy. There are some profile building videos that are going to be coming up over the next few weeks and even months. And eventually, when it is time, when the applications for the fall 2025 intake will open, that is when those videos will start rolling out. So up until then, just, take this with a grain of salt that each video that's coming out every week is something that you should be doing or working on at this moment. Like right now, we are end of March, beginning of April. So you shouldn't be applying for the fall 25 intake at this time because applications are not open. So what you should be doing is something that builds and enhances your profile to better be prepared to get into your dream college. So let's do a better job. If you're watching till this point, like the video, subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.